Hi everyone, my name is Mako and I'm the Gallic witch. Today is Beltane, so from one witchy, druid, whatever to another, happy Beltane, happy May Day, wherever you're watching this. For this year's Beltane, I wanted to cook something special, or maybe more bake something special. It's a recipe that's very dear to my people and to our traditions. And this year I'm going to show you how I make this recipe. So listen closely as I teach you how to bake a spice cake. This is a direct translation from the French word pain d'épices, which literally means spice bread. It's not a bread, but pain is a word we use both for bread and for sort of cake, pound cakes like baking projects. But I've read online a bit about like spice cakes and what you consider spice cakes. I'm not sure this is quite the same thing. So this is why I thought it'd be interesting for me to show you how I make this. For this recipe, you will need 100 grams of sugar, 150 grams of butter, 4 soup spoons of honey. I am using soup spoons voluntarily. This is not a tablespoon. I'm pretty sure a tablespoon is a lot more than what we call a tablespoon. So I'm making the distinction. This is the soup spoon. 2 eggs, 12 soup spoons of milk. You can use a vegetarian vegan replacement for that, which is what I use. 1 to 2 soup spoons of ground ginger powder or 1 soup spoon of grated ginger. 2 to 3 soup spoons of cinnamon, a pinch of salt, cloves and cardamom to taste, 220 grams of flour. Just to be clear, all the measurements I gave for the spices, which are ginger, cinnamon, cloves and cardamom, are all to taste. This is the measurements I used because we like to taste the spices in the spice cake, but I am well aware that spices, especially those ones, are very depend a lot on the culture and how strongly people feel about the spices. So in general, I would say put cinnamon as the most, second should be the ginger, cardamom should be third, and I wouldn't put more than maybe 2 to 3 like cloves. I don't know how you call like the small pieces of cloves, I'm just gonna call them cloves. The cardamom and cloves are grounded in a mortar and what do you call that? Mortar and pelter? Sorry, I'm not sure. I just kind of blanked out for a second. That stuff, which should help you like kind of dose, like you can ground more than you need and just put them back in like a small box and use them whenever, rather than put too much into the cake, because cloves and cardamom are very strong, and the cinnamon and ginger and honey, which you can consider a spice in the spice cake, should taste the strongest, basically. Those are the measurements for this cake, which I would say is maybe 4 to 5 people, depending on how big you want to slice the slices, basically. Now, let me explain how you're gonna make this cake. Alright, let's do this. First thing first, you need the butter at room temperature. It needs to be easy to work with. Take all of your butter and in a bowl, work it with the sugar until it becomes light and fluffy. I am using white sugar because this is the only thing I have left in my cupboard, but you should not be using white sugar. It should be at the very least cane sugar, but even better would be half cane sugar, half brown sugar. That's the best. Once you've worked your butter and sugar together, you're going to add in whatever order you want the eggs, the salt, the spices, and the honey. In my opinion, it is easier if you don't have a very runny honey to take a bit of your butter and melt it and add the honey inside and just get it to warm together, so it's easier to work with. It shouldn't be very hot because this is, as well as a delicious cake, a magical cake, and you do not want to kill all of the good stuff inside of the honey by making it too hot. It should be like the temperature of a baby bottle, basically. You can stick your finger in it and it doesn't feel warmer than your own body. Once you've got all of that in your bowl, you work it together until you get a runny, brown, very, very deliciously smelling mixture. You're going to add the flour little by little by raining it on top of your batter and incorporating it slowly with your whisk. You do not want to lose all of the fluffiness that you worked into your batter when you mixed the butter and sugar together. It is okay to put less of the flour than indicated in the recipe. You should do it, especially if you know what you're doing. You're going to realize soon enough if there's too much flour. This is very dependent on how much spices you put inside of your cake. The more you put of spices, the less you're going to put of flour because the batter is going to be drier. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to adjust for. When the flour is perfectly incorporated and there are no more flour bubbles left inside of your batter, you're going to put the milk soup spoon by soup spoon inside of your batter and incorporate it slowly as well. Like I said, I'm not using cow milk because it gives me asthma, but also I think soy milk or almond milk or even maybe like rice coconut mix milk just tastes better in this kind of cake. It gives it a sort of nutty taste that works very well with the spices, but that's entirely up to you. Side note, I've never tried to bake those kind of stuff with a vegan alternative to butter. Let me know how that works if you try that. I'm kind of interested actually. When the milk is perfectly incorporated, choose a cake pan. There are typically we use either the sort of this type of pound cake pan or I don't know the name of it. It's a very typical shape for cakes in France. It's like a giant donut basically, to use American references. That's entirely up to you. If you don't have either of those, just like a round cake, that's fine. It shouldn't look like that, but it's gonna taste the same, so just nobody cares. Then you're going to put it inside of the oven for 40 to 45 minutes. This is the kind of cake that you want to keep an eye on because it is so dense and kind of dry in the batter that if you leave it just maybe 1 or 2 minutes more than it should be, it's gonna dry up completely and it's gonna be basically unedible. When it's done, this cake should be eaten cold and it goes very well with afternoon tea, or for my American, British, English-speaking friends out there who are very familiar with carrot cake, the frosting / icing, I still don't understand the difference, that you put on the carrot cake, like inside and outside of the carrot cake, this goes very well with the spice cake because spices are kind of similar between the carrot cake and the spice cake. I had some leftover from a carrot cake I made for a birthday and I ate it with the spice cake and it's delicious, so you can try that as well. Now I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the Magickal correspondences and why this cake is perfect for Beltane / as a spell cake. A spice cake has spices, as the name indicates, and spices are some of the most powerful ingredients that you can use in spellwork. Specifically, cinnamon, so powerful, ginger, I mean, come on, and cardamom and cloves are also very powerful. Honey is less typical as used in spellwork, but it is great for offerings, and this cake I specifically baked to offer to the gods for Beltane. Also, I know people who juice an orange or a clementine or a mandarin, not sure that's how you pronounce it, and put some of the juice in the batter and like cut some of the milk out, and it tastes incredible. And oranges slash clementine slash these sorts of fruits are also great for spellwork. In particular, cinnamon is heavily associated with success, with wealth, with things going your way, achieving your goals. Ginger is a extremely powerful spice, both fresh and grounded, especially as a way to increase your own power and make something more powerful. I'm gonna link you to a video that the Green Witch made where she showed how to make candied ginger, which is amazing for a witch to eat just before doing spell work as kind of like a power enhancer. Cloves are also great for wealth and success and abundance. I also use them as a form of protection against illnesses and as like a boost to the immune system, because that's how it can be used in herbalism. And cardamom I use as a representation for joy, happiness, family, kind of bringing people together, because all of these spices, as well as the spice cake, is one of the spices slash cakes that you use a lot for family reunions. So I associate it with all of those things, because in like my memories, whenever you smell cardamom or cinnamon, cloves in the house, it's not really a house, but in the home, this meant that you had all of your family there, and we were all baking together and gossiping, and like the cooking process would take all day, and we would eat for like 5 hours straight. So that's why those spices have such strong correspondences for positive stuff: happiness, abundance, success, achieving something, power. So this cake is basically all of that stuff together, on top of all the power that you pour into it when you're baking it. Because this is like one of the best way to do kitchen witchcraft, is to create something and then use it both as a tool for spell work, also to give to family and friends, to give them some of that magic that you worked into the cake. And on top of that, you can use it as amazing offerings for deities, for the Fae, especially Beltane's the best day to offer something to the Fae. So I really hope you get to taste it, and if you make it, please like post a picture somewhere, tag me on Instagram or anywhere. I really want to see like people outside of France make the spice cake. It would really make my day. So don't hesitate. You can follow me on Instagram at the Gallic Witch, on TikTok at the Gallic Witch, and if you're interested, I'm making my own tarot deck, which is based on Gaulish and Celtic symbolism, as well as has a big emphasis on diversity and inclusivity, because it represents all of the amazing people I've met in the witchcraft / pagan community. And you can find my work for this deck at the Bellissima Tarot on Instagram or on my website dimancheetoile.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Beltane. See you soon. Bye.